Hello and welcome back to another live stream. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. And yeah, welcome back to another match preview. Unfortunately, we're talking about West Ham today. We're not doing a watch along to another club because all the games are finished now. I don't know what the Man United score was. I don't care. I turned it off after they went 1-0 up. I know Chelsea won 8-0 and Tottenham lost, which is always a good thing. But yeah, that Galatasaray game was a bit mad. But unfortunately, we have to talk about West Ham. Well, we don't have to, but I have a YouTube channel that I actually care about. So we are talking about West Ham today. And big up to Musty as always. As Musty says, everyone leave a like and subscribe if you're new because we're trying to reach 1K as soon as possible. And we are 9 away from 600 at this current moment in time. And yeah. So just trying to get to 1K really. And yeah, hopefully, this is Lopetegui's last game at GVO Mikes at Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. If you want to follow me as well, we'll probably keep this to like 45 minutes. We don't really want to be talking about this club for that long. We'll get into the thoughts of everyone's thoughts in the preview. Leave your thoughts of the game in the comments. Leave your thoughts of the game in the chat as well, and what you think is going to happen. How you're feeling towards the game, the manager, if you haven't already, what the future of the club's like, what we are on the table, etc., and your thoughts about the club in general. Leave it in the comments. Feel free to get involved no matter who you support. Yeah, 8-0 should have been 15, literally. I've never heard of Noah, so I didn't expect anything less. You guys deal um with the conference league very well, to be fair. That's dark Mike. You don't want to talk about irons for more than 45 minutes. Not really. Not really. And also, to be fair, Musty, I've just been repeating myself for the past few weeks, to be honest with you. Um, that's kind of the problem. Every preview, every match reaction, I've kind of just been repeating myself when it comes to this manager. There's not really even much to talk about, I'll be real. But we always like to interact. It's mainly to get everyone else's thoughts in rather than my own right now and just kind of respond to what the people are saying. But yeah, pretty much, bro. Big up to the Villa fan as always, bro. Hope you're doing well. They got found in the 2017. Yeah, someone sent me that in a group that I was in. So it's always mad when you come up against these teams. Oh, flawless raid. Flawless raid. Big up to Flawless. Big up to Sarcasm City TV as always, Brev. But big up to Don C in the comments as well. Legit, I'm not really feeling anything towards this game. If I'm being 100% honest with you, the reason why is because Everton is one of our many bogey teams, and when I mean many bogey teams, there's quite a few. Yes, our record since we moved to the London Stadium has been a bit better than it was at Upton Park. If you guys remember, um, West Ham Everton used to be one of those games where you come up against Leighton Baines and Seamus Coleman and Romelu Lukaku, and it was just long for us all the time when we faced them at home. We even lost to them last year, yes, under a different manager, but we kind of got the same problems under a whole different manager, so it kind of really doesn't make a difference, to be completely honest with you. But there we are. But however, this is against the team that just lost to Southampton, and we all thought that we were going to lose to Manchester United. So to be honest with you, it wouldn't surprise me if Lopetegui got this got the 3 points a day and kept this job until December, January. Because this is what happens at West Ham, and I've repeated myself throughout the week where whenever a manager is close to getting sacked, they always manage to revive themselves and win the game that's going to keep them in. That's what usually happens at this club. It happened with David Moyes multiple times in the season when we won the Conference League, the games against Southampton and Nottingham Forest when we won at home. And funny enough, against Everton when Frank Lampard was there, the proper El Sacico at the times. Big up to West Ham United Lewis as well. As always, hope you're doing well, my guy. And yeah, with this game, I actually think we're actually going to get a result. And what I mean by a result, I mean we're not going to lose this game. It's not even because I necessarily even want to win for the greater good of this club and what's going to happen. But the point is that Lopetegui is one of their managers that's always going to keep himself afloat by keeping his job, by getting that one win so he can keep himself there. And even then, we're probably not going to get anyone inspiring as the next manager anyway. Terzic is the favourite. And if it's not going to be Terzic, it's going to be Graham Potter, which I've expressed my thoughts before. I'm kind of on and off with that appointment. And to be honest, I'm not really excited in terms of a long time at this club in general. We've got a good squad, but we're wasting it. And this squad deserves a different caliber manager, like an Unai Emery-esque. Like, I'm not saying Unai Emery, obviously, because he's at Villa. I'm saying an Unai Emery-esque manager. That's someone that's going to coach this team and a coach and get this team to above expectations. It's kind of like what Eddie Howe did with that Newcastle team that got top four. Capitalize on the fact that maybe other teams are doing so well, and you got to be the team to get up. Obviously, if we were thinking like that we were going to pay compensation for a manager, my number one choice would be the Stuttgart manager. But we're not going to pay compensation. If we're going for free agent managers, then Sarri or Conceição from the former Porto manager. Big up to Charlie as always as well. Hope you're doing well, my guy, as always. And big up to Luca as well. Hey, you okay? Yeah, I'm all good, bro. Luca, how are you, bro? But regardless of what team that his manager lines up with, it kind of doesn't matter because he's going to make weird substitutions. Like he did against Nottingham Forest where Somerville came off. Like he did against Chelsea where Somerville came off. Like he did against Chelsea where Rodriguez came off for Souček in 30 minutes in. I'm not even saying this because Souček came on. I'm saying it specifically the fact that he scapegoated one player against Chelsea like it wasn't 5 or 6 players that played badly. And all of that was because of his tactics. He took this long to integrate Todibo in. He scapegoated Somerville. He scapegoated Rodriguez. Wan-Bissaka and Kilman and Todibo are probably the only one that have actually performed at an individual quality. Emerson's actually not been that bad, to be honest with you. It's just the whole structure of the team is actually very poor. Now, obviously, this isn't El Sakiko, but Sean Dyche is also under pressure on the Everton side as well after losing to Southampton. But the difference is with Sean Dyche and the Everton situation, there's kind of a lot of uncertainty to when they're officially going to have their new ownership and when they're going to properly take over and have decisions within the club anyway. With Everton as well. Also with Sean Dyche always manages to keep himself afloat as well. But the difference is with Sean Dyche, you know exactly what an Everton team is going to be under Sean Dyche. You know what Sean Dyche's team is going to, how they're going to perform and what they're going to do within the game, how they're going to approach a game as well. That's the difference between them and us. We don't know what the fuck we're doing. We haven't know what we're doing for the past 2 or 3 years in the league specifically. And that kind of forces in with the new manager. Now, also the problem is we don't do well against teams that go direct. Now, don't get me wrong, we've got a different centre-back pairing. Nea Figueiredo is a pussy that couldn't handle any sort of striker, and Kurt Zouma didn't have any knees. So, yes, it's different now. Mavropanos is a pussy, and for a guy who's built like a brick shithouse, he's a bit of a pussy. Todibo isn't, and as much as Kilman isn't the greatest in the air, he can handle himself better than all the other 3 centre-backs that I've just mentioned. Todibo, I'm mainly the one banking on trying to keep either Beto or Calvert-Lewin afloat. Now, Calvert-Lewin is another player, just like Chris Wood, that has a very good goal-scoring record against us. Scored in that 1-0 against us last season, scored in the Ancelotti game when they beat us 1-0 in the lockdown, and I'm sure he scored in other games as well at Goodison Park. I'm still kind of getting frustrated every time we play Everton that we don't turn up, especially at home. For some reason, we actually, our record at Goodison Park actually got a bit better since we went to the London Stadium. It's 9 a.m. and 34 degrees. I don't know if I'm more sick of the weather or our bozo manager. Honestly, I'm sick of the English weather, so I would swap our weather any day. People think I'm crazy, but I could live in hot weather. I know you live in Australia, so it's a bit different for you, but I would take hot weather any day of the week. I could do with some sun. I could do with some hot weather. We get like 2 weeks of good weather here, and it just filters out. But back to the game itself, there's also the fact that part of Everton's problems, if we're looking at the opposition, Tarkowski is playing, but he's playing alongside Michael Keane, and someone who's been heavily criticised at Everton, and rightly so, for the past few years. Some would say scapegoated, and he can. Funny enough, he's actually probably a better striker than he is centre back. He's one of them defenders that can actually strike a ball properly. But when it comes to actually defending, he's a fucking bozo. Branthwaite is just coming back, but he's still on the bench. Jake O'Brien, for some reason, was signed, but isn't playing over Michael Keane. In fact, he was actually a transfer target of us. I don't know who's going to play right back for them. I don't know whether it's going to be Patterson, Young. I don't know. I don't even know if Patterson's fit. I don't think he's been fit for a while. Or if it's going to be old man Seamus Coleman. Sometimes James Garner can fill in there occasionally. Tim Burnham, I don't know what's happened to him. He started the season really well. Then you got bench Iliman in DI and Dwight McNeil. Dwight McNeil moved into the middle, and Iliman in DI has kind of changed it up a bit for Everton. Calvert-Lewin's come under criticism again. He tried to force a move in the summer, and even like he tried to force a move at a time where stocks are so low that it didn't really matter in the end. With Calvert-Lewin as well, he's been heavily overrated over the years, and Ancelotti made him look better than he actually is. this game reeks of a 1-1 and this Bozo survives. That's kind of what I'm feeling as well, Charlie. I think that that's actually spot on because a draw would probably still keep this manager in a job, unfortunately. And that's why I don't care. That's why I don't care because you're not serious if you draw the game against Everton, you're like 16th in the table in November, and you don't sack the manager. You need to sack the manager, especially with this squad. This squad has been heavily wasted. And I'm kind of tired of it. No matter what lineup we put out, we should be beating Everton. We should be with our squad, but with this bozo manager, Dyche is a better manager than Lopetegui is. Lopetegui is the second worst manager, maybe third worst in the league. He's combining with Gary O'Neill and Russell Martin, both two terrible coaches. Then again, Russell Martin beat Sean Dyche. They just went away to Southampton and lost. They had to rely on a VAR decision to try and get a goal in the end, and that didn't work. They still drew 1-1. No, they still lost 1-0, sorry. Southampton kept a clean sheet against Everton with Bednarek and Jack Stevens at the back, with Taylor Harwood-Bellis, who just recently got a call up to England. We should be keeping a clean sheet against Everton, but we won't because we've only kept one clean sheet all season. One clean sheet all season, and that was against Crystal Palace, another team that are down there. The teams that we've beaten are all down there with us. So it wouldn't surprise me if we did win this game. But it's not going to be easy no matter where Everton are because no matter where a Sean Dyche team is, it's never easy to play them. Always hard to beat. Always make it a physical game. So the ball is always in the air. And we struggled with a manager like David Moyes against Sean Dyche, for example, a manager who's in a similar mould. And he struggled with Everton's physicality, and he's meant to be of a similar mould anyway. So with this manager, who's, I don't even know what his style of play is, but he's a terrorist. It's just pure terrorism. I couldn't tell you what this is. In fact, it's worse. Like, I got asked a question before on Shameless whether is Moyes worse or Lopetegui worse. I'd probably say Lopetegui now. I'd probably say Lopetegui's worse, if I'm being real, because I don't know what he is. Hey, Mike's, Charlie, and all in the chat. Big up to Wasim as always, bro. Hope you're doing well. And we're going to get into the predicted lineup and from what I think Lopetegui's going to line up with. Not that I give a shit, but hopefully this isn't the last time we actually have to talk about the guy. Because once this guy leaves, I don't ever want to talk about him again. This guy's the worst manager at West Ham since Avram Grant. Worst manager since Avram Grant. By far. He's even worse than Pellegrini. The only difference that's keeping him afloat right now is that he has a better squad. He's worse than Bilic. Way worse than Moyes. He's worse than Allardyce, way worse than Allardyce, and he's not as bad as Avram Grant. That's it. And this is my lifetime. When I was growing up, Avram Grant was the manager. From then on, Lopetegui, he's the next one. You reckon Lopetegui gets sacked if you win? No, a win would probably keep his job until January, knowing us. Knowing us, his job will probably keep him afloat. Until at least December, if he wins the game. So there's nothing to be excited about. I will be at the game, so I'll celebrate if a goal goes in. But if I was watching this game at home, I'd be sitting there just like, okay, cool, we scored. Now what? Now what do you want me to do? I will only celebrate a goal at West Ham if I'm at the game. I don't care anymore. I don't care about. I'm starting to lose love with this sport, to be honest. This season's drained me out, and we're already in fucking November. By the time we get to May, I'm just gonna be sitting in my chair like this, like watching, like just literally doing YouTube like this, like a fat guy. Big up to Fuego as well. Hope you're doing well, my guy. Big up to everyone that's in here. Make sure to leave a like as you're coming in as well. Try and get to like 8 likes by the end of this stream. But what are you guys feeling? Are you guys confident? Do you guys think we'll win and the manager survives? Do you guys think this is the last straw? But I want to know your thoughts in the comments as well. Feel free to leave your thoughts because regardless of what lineup we put out, I'm not going to be happy. Because I know personally, I'm not going to be happy with whatever lineup this manager puts out because it isn't going to be the lineup that I want. By the way, it kind of tells you all you need to know that Kudus is still banned and he's going to be banned for another 2 games and Somerville probably won't play. The fact that Somerville came off at half-time after that red card is disgusting in itself, and he moved Todibo to the midfield, who, by the way, actually didn't do bad in midfield, but that's kind of not the point. Todibo's not a fucking midfielder. He's going to do something stupid with the lineup. And to be honest, good fucking riddance if he does, because that will probably make him lose his job. I don't hope we lose, but if we lose, so the fuck what? Rashane Thomas, ex-West Ham employee, and Fabrizio Romano have all reported the sacking is close. Of course, what's his name? Jacob Steinberg is going to report, they're going to keep with him and Everton's not the decisive factor. When Jacob Steinberg reports something like that, go with the opposite. That's what you got to do with Jacob Steinberg. Because Steinberg also said that the Guilherme deal was off. Same as Jack Rosser. Same as the other twat that works, that does all those weird reports. What's his name? Graham Bailey as well. A draw or win keeps him. Don't get me wrong. A draw is probably not enough to fucking sack him, unfortunately. But we might lose, but I generally think it is going to be a draw, and he keeps his job, like Charlie said in the chat. In my opinion, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Because when I look at this game, I'm fucking tired of it. I'm tired of this club. I'm tired of it. That's the phrase I've been using this whole time. I'm tired of this club. I'm tired of it. Because even after the good riddance happens and we get our Independence Day, look what's going to happen. We get Terzic in. He doesn't have any identity. Any identity. We're going to watch pretty much another identityless West Ham. We'll probably look a little bit better than Lopetegui. It's not going to be the manager that takes us to the promised land of European football, consistent year in, year out, which is what we should be targeting. Not saying in the first season, but in the future. Because I didn't expect Europe first season. I expected fucking a style of play, whatever the fuck it was going to be, and 10th minimum. I wanted 10th minimum for the first season. So then I can be like, then I can judge you fairly. Then I can judge you fairly for the next season. And be like, now give me Europe. Now you got 2 transfer windows, another season where you don't play more than 1 game a week. Give me Europe for the second season. But were they going to do that? Definitely not. Definitely not. Managers at West Ham always get a fluke when they're on the verge of getting sacked. Exactly. Even happened to Pellegrini. Forget even Moyes for a sec. It happened to Pellegrini. He was going to get sacked. I think it was that Chelsea game. That Chelsea game was going to be the last straw. And we beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge for the first time in like 20 years or whatever it was. Not 20 years, like 16 years or where. I think it was 2003. We got the first win at Stamford Bridge for years. And the one time we got it was when Pellegrini was about to get sacked. And he delayed his time. I can't remember what the game that got him sacked was. I can remember. It was Leicester at home. We lost to Leicester's B team when Damari Gray scored against us. Another game where Carlos Sanchez had a disaster class. Needs to stop with the wing-backs for 90 minutes. Yeah. And the thing is, if you play wing-backs but actually have a strategy of using them, it's fine. But the fullbacks seem to just go wide randomly. I think they're just doing what they want because the manager ain't giving them any instruction. I thought before this whole transfer window happened, I thought tactically it was going to be Wan-Bissaka tucks into the back 3. So because Wan-Bissaka, Todibo, Kilman, and Emerson bombs on. I thought that's what it was going to be. I thought that it made sense for that to happen. But no, both fullbacks are going that way when we don't even have the possession. We don't even have the ball on either side. So when we do lose the ball, because Alvarez, Rodriguez, Paquetá, Souček, whoever's playing in the middle, those 4 players specifically that played down the middle throughout the whole time, always lose the fucking ball. So we just get counted on. No, I didn't see the Chelsea game, bro. But big up to yourself, Carl. Yes, Mike Schuler, Lopetegui to get sacked after the Everton game. If we lose, definitely. If we lose, then yeah, it's the last straw because everyone's reported that. Like all the proper insiders, like ex-West Ham employee Fabrizio and Rashane Thomas from The Athletic have all reported that. So if we do lose, then yeah, it's the last straw. And I can see us losing, but this is just destined for us to draw or win. Because it's as soon as the manager is on the last straw, as we've addressed in this game. But Calvert-Lewin's a guy who scores against us quite a bit. He'll probably start and Beto comes off the bench. That's kind of what they've been doing because Sean Dyche doesn't trust Beto from a starter. He did score against Fulham to just about equalise. Everton don't give up despite how shit they are. They are actually probably better than Ten Hag's Man United. So technically we're coming up against a tougher opponent and they're better than Ipswich. They're definitely better than Ipswich. So because Ipswich ain't won a fucking game yet. But You won't see another 4-1, put it that way. Realistically, we should be winning this game. We should be winning this game. Will we? We probably won't. We've got Bowen, we've got Paquetá. I was going to say we've got Kudus. We don't. Uh, Somerville is enough. Somerville is enough as well. What's it called? Even Antonio, even a 2024 Mikel Antonio is enough. Like, if it's Danny Ings in 2024 Mikel Antonio, it's enough to beat Everton. They've got Michael Keane at the back. They've got Michael Keane. Tarkowski isn't the same Tarkowski of Burnley. We've got enough to beat them. The problem is as well, I know what type of midfield I'm going to see as well. So by that thing, we're going to transition straight into the predicted 11 people. Get your predicted 11s in the chat, people, and put it all into one message. Don't put it one name after one name. Just put it all into one message of what your predicted 11. What do you think Lopetegui's going to pick? But also put the 11s that you'd start for this game. I don't know why I put 4-3-3. Hold on. I forgot how to change. Fuck it, we're going to go 4-3-3. I don't care. Fabianski in goal. Fabianski's going to start in goal. Arwan Bissaka. You'd hope that it's Todibo. Max Kilman. And Emerson. That should go without saying. I know I put 4-3-3. It's going to be a 4-2-3-1, but you know what I mean. Guido Rodriguez, because Edson Alvarez is suspended again. Thomas Souček. And Lucas Paquetá. I think that's the most predictable midfield that we could pick. Somerville. It might be Soler, you know. Do you know what? Fuck it. If knowing this manager, Soler on the left. Bowen up front. And then Bowen on the right, sorry, and Antonio up front. This is the lineup he's probably going to pick. This is a shit lineup. This is dog shit. I can't lie, this stinks. With the squad that we have, this fucking stinks. We've got 2 players that are suspended. 2 suspended players. I don't think our discipline's been this bad in years. Moyes was throwing shade at modern football, like directors of football. I watched the overlap video today. I was going to do a video on it, but I couldn't be bothered. If Julian Lopetegui gets sacked, I would love Mark Noble as our manager. I wouldn't. No, Mark Noble loves the club, yeah, but he's not a manager. There's no point getting a manager that's just a former player, because we need more than passion. We need tactics. We need coaching. Let Mark Noble just stay high up as the club. Emerson, Kilman, Mavro, Arwan Bissaka, Todibo, Guido, Soler, Somerville, Bowen, Paquetá. Is that the lineup you want, though? Is that the lineup you want, though? Or is it the lineup you think the manager's going to pick? Because I think he's not going to probably put Todibo in midfield just because of the Forest game, and I think Souček will start. Don't think Paquetá is going to play on the. Well, actually, no, Solo will probably play. Wait, Somerville, who's playing where? Well, you think that you generally think he's going to bench Souček and Antonio? I know Antonio was benched last time. I don't think he benched him 2 games in a row. I don't think Soler. I don't think Paquetá will start. I can't even try. I'm trying to figure out who's playing where in your team. So I'm assuming you're saying Soler on the left then, because he doesn't play Paquetá on the left. Todibo, Guido, Soler. I don't think he played that midfield. Somerville left wing, Soler 10, Paquetá right wing. Oh, right, because Paquetá played sort of the right 10 in the thing. Southgate is a good shout. Southgate is definitely not a good shout, bro. Southgate is far from a good shout. Again, we need a coach, bro. We need a coach. Big up to Damien. Somerville over Soler, and the keepers would be my only changes, and change the shape of the midfield. Yeah, I forgot to put it to 4-2-3-1, bro. I keep forgetting that it's not 4-3-3. Obviously, if it was up to me, I would do the same changes you just said. Somerville over Soler and the keepers. But this is what I think the manager's going to go with. I think for whatever reason, this guy wants to scapegoat Somerville again. So just put Somerville there. And It's not like Fabianski's done any better, but at the same time, he did play well against Forest, and he did play well against Man United. So, but I'm saying in terms of the reasons that we kicked Areola out for, Fabianski isn't necessarily good at either. Fabianski, Arwan Bissaka, Tadibo, Kilman, Emerson, Suchek, Pakisar, Guido, Bowen, Ings, Somerville. So that's yours, I'm assuming. Then that's your lineup, I assume. If we're talking my lineup, I don't care. I don't care who starts at this. Under this manager, I don't care. What I would want, what do I want? I just want Somerville to start. I just want my boy to start, bro, and that's it. I want Somerville to start. I don't care about the rest. That's your preferred, fair enough. Yeah, because I was gonna say he would never start Ings probably, but I hope we lose anyway. Do you know what it is? I get for the greater good. I get for the greater good. I probably never say that. The only time I've ever wanted us to lose was when we had Pellegrini as manager. I thought we were actually going to lose to Chelsea, and then we actually beat Chelsea. I couldn't even enjoy the win really because I knew this manager was going to stay for another 3-4 weeks, and then we lost to what's it called, Leicester. What was it like a month after in December? I said I'm cheering for Everton. I'm trying to figure out what emoji that is. Not gonna lie, I'm trying to figure. I don't even know what that emoji is, bro. But I know you don't like Ings, so fair enough. I don't really care what happens. The reason why I don't care is because if this manager gets sacked, we're not going to hire anyone inspiring, and if we win, the manager stays. We're kind of exterminated ourselves. I'll be real. There's not really much to be excited for, and people are going to be like, "You're kind of being negative for no reason. You've got a good squad or whatever," or maybe people are actually going to understand what I'm saying. But for me, I'm telling the truth. Like there isn't anything to be excited about because I know as soon as Lopetegui is gone, I think Terzic is already. Do you know that whole gentleman's agreement thing that they put out, that clubs put out, that journalists put out, etc. I legit think that the Terzic thing is already like gentlemanly agreed. That's just a prediction. I don't have inside sources. I'm not an ITK. Like I don't want to be an ITK. I don't pretend to go on Twitter and be an ITK, unlike some people as well. But I think the Terzic thing is going to happen straight away. Because think about how quick the Lopetegui thing was. It only took us a week for us to be linked with Amorim and then not linked with Amorim anymore. And then Lopetegui was getting a job straight after the Chelsea loss. Like, it's going to happen quick. It's going to happen over the international break because for some reason, Sullivan hires managers really quick, but they're all shit. Will that Goblin pay for a manager if he realizes he fucked up? No, probably not. If he's still in charge, put it this way, you're going to see who's in charge. You're going to see who's in charge of managers. If we pay a compensation for a manager, you know who's in charge. If we don't, you know who's in charge because Sullivan loves money. Maybe Kretinsky and Tim Preston. I don't think Kretinsky is anything like it. I think Kretinsky is just a Czech Republic ghost. Like what I mean by that, this guy's just an investor. I don't think he has any say. What I mean, not has any say, but I don't think he makes footballing decisions. I just think he's there for money. Is Areola back? Areola's always been here, Kyle, but he's just always on the bench. He's just always on the bench now because ever since that Tottenham game, he's been benched for Fabianski. Yeah, I think it might be Terzic. I think it will be Terzic, and it doesn't help that he actually works. He used to work for Bilic, so he knows the club. I've already given my opinion on the whole Mourinho thing, but I like to get to Jan, sell some players, and pay for Mourinho. We definitely need to. Well, I think who's going to go in January? I know Irving. Maybe Irving's got to go. And there's nothing against Andy Irving. It's just like, why are you here? Like, you're not meant to be here. I get you want to fight for your place, but you're like free money in my eyes. That all I see with Andy Irving is dollar signs, bro. You need to leave because we ain't gonna play you. I don't know who else is gonna be sold. I know you want Ings to go, but will Ings go? Because this guy, he's happy with the wage he is. He's on. He should have gone in the summer. But he rejected the bid to Southampton. Guilherme looks good in training. They all probably look good in training. Unfortunately, Guilherme is kind of playing to be patient for next season. What about the other goalkeeper? Give him a chance. Oh, he's terrible, bro. No, he's terrible. He's terrible. Fotheringham is terrible. Um, like the goals, like he in terms of like actually saving the ball, the guy's terrible. Like, do you know what's funny with West Fotheringham? Yeah, I remember he was originally like a second choice goalkeeper overall at Sheffield United, and then when they got to the Championship, they kind of just kept him as the number one, and they never upgraded to the number one when they got promoted. Um, like the guy is a terrible goalkeeper. I said I don't care about the Fotheringham signing as long as he never plays. Like I'm still happy with the for the time being with Fabianski and Areola as our goalkeepers. Don't get me wrong, but we're gonna need a new goalkeeper next year. If we're smart, we go for Kelleher. In my opinion, because I know Kelleher is going to leave because of the whole Mamardashvili and Allison saga that's happening at Liverpool. That I think it only makes sense for us to go in for him. I think he'll go to Forest just because even though Forest have a lot of goalkeepers, Forest don't care how many players they have in each position. They will go for who they want to go for. You know what I mean? So there you go. But when it comes to this game, it doesn't fucking matter. Like if we lose, I don't care. If we win, I don't care. Like either way, I don't care. You're gonna get the same reaction from me. I'm literally going to speak like I'm a neutral fan on these fan cams nowadays, but I just try and not speak as emotional because there's no point speaking emotionally about this club unless it's something like I was about to say is a bad word, but something stupid that somebody says about the club. Then I'll get angry. Um, Kufal, Sufal, sorry, Ings, Antonio Irving to Turkey. Antonio ain't gonna leave in January. Ings ain't gonna leave in January. And I don't think the only thing I think Sufal's gonna go for. I'd sell Sufal in January just because we're probably losing on a free anyway. Um, what's it called? The thing is, because Sufal's got 6 months left by the time that he gets to January, he's probably going to have to talk to foreign clubs anyway. So any foreign club, obviously a club outside of England, can pretty much have pre-agreement talks with him. So he'll probably leave in January on a pre-agreement, so then he'll actually leave in the summer. So, uh, uh yeah, but Mavropanos can cover right back. Mavropanos has looked better at right back than what's it called? Than centre back, in my opinion. When I saw Mavropanos' highlights, he looked decent in the back three, but his highlights was a comp. I do want James Ward-Prowse to stay next year. I think his time is done, bro. I think his time is done. Just as a footballer is done. I wanted it to work, because of what I saw at Southampton, but he's not an athlete. I don't rate him as a 10 enough to be creative. He never really played in the 8 that much under Moyes anyway, but even at Forest, even his time at Forest was shit. No, it's been shit so far. Literally got a red card after making his own mistake and getting a second yellow card. And to be honest, oh my god, Fuego, bro, this last year, James Ward-Prowse left wing. We had to see that last year. Why do we always have managers that start players out of fucking position all the time? It's not even just Moyes and Lopetegui. Bilic did it. Bilic started Antonio at right back and Hernandez on the fucking left wing. He started, like, I remember this guy started Chicharito on the left wing. Bilic did that. Why do we always get managers that start players out of fucking position, bro? Because we had no other options. But hold on. Wasn't Cornet right there, though? I'm not saying Cornet's good enough, but he's a winger. Well, didn't we have Ben Rama at the start of the season? That clueless German sold all our left wing options. Have you turned on Steiden all of a sudden? Like, I don't understand, bro. Have you managed to back up Moyes from last season? I don't get it. Because that midfield of Suchek, Alvarez, and Ward Prowse, Ben Rama had gone by then. Ben Rama was gone in January, though. and Fornals was gone in January. And they didn't play under Moyes. In the first 6 months, Ward-Prowse and Paquetá were still playing left wing. And Fornals and Benrahma were there. And Corday was there. They wanted to leave. Like, this is the thing. Fornals didn't want to leave, but Benrahma definitely wanted to leave. Every manager starts players out of position at some point. I think all the shit managers, maybe. That clown Moyes likes a small squad and only wanted Phillips. His whole small squad thing pissed me off, man. And James Ward-Prowse played left wing second half of the season. Even in the first half of the season, him and Paquetá always used to swap going left wing and going left wing in 10. Like, we saw mainly Paquetá, Kudus, and Ward-Prowse all starting left wing in the second half of the season. Moyes likes a small squad. And he only even starts 10 players anyway. Not 10 players. 13 players. I'd say 13 of the same players. Even though we were in Thursday, Sunday football competition. When Rama and Fornals were pushed to fund Osman instead of flop the Osman deal. Moyes, we've literally got Calvin Phillips, bruv. Because of Moyes' control. Moyes doesn't want these young players that come in. When does Moyes ever want a young winger? Steiner never had no control under Moyes. Moyes wasn't playing them, so they wanted to go. Nothing to do with King Tim. That's facts, Mikes. Listen, I don't think it. I don't. My head, like last season, yeah, when we had left wing options in the first 6 months. Oh my god, Ben Johnson as well. He played Ben Johnson on the fucking wing as well. That pissed me off. Started to flop the Osman deal. Since when? I'm confused. I thought Brighton got Brighton got the Osman deal. But Moyes doesn't like these players. Moyes wouldn't have wanted him anyway. He wouldn't have fucking played him. Because he had no one else. But in the first 6 months of the season, he had those players, Damien. He was speaking to the wrong agent. If you can pull me up this report, then fair enough. Moyes fan club, we ran out of steam in January and injuries. I said from I think it was the Brentford game. Well, I was Moyes out anyway, but the Brentford game was what was like, nothing's changed for me. Nothing's changed. Big up Nick as well. Hope you're doing well, my guy. Big up to yourself. But yeah, I'm sick of these managers. I'm sick of all these managers. I just want a coach. that's going to get us to the level on a consistent basis. I don't think that's hard. But we're not going to have that. We're not going to have that. That's why I'm saying there's nothing to be excited about. And if people can give me something to be excited about, I would love you guys to give me something to be excited about when it comes to West Ham United. I would love it. Because I don't think there's anything to be excited about. Even when we was in Europe last season, I was saying the same thing. But at least not to take Ten Hag. How many people have said that? Jesus Christ. Knowing Sullivan, it wouldn't fucking surprise me. Oh boy. I think Ten Hag would legit get us relegated. I can't lie. Unless he somehow manages to go back to the fucking Ajax way, which is this is the thing, is Tim even going to be at the reins? Because if we hire a manager like Terzic, for example, that's a free agent, you know it's Sullivan. Because I fully was trying to back the idea of the fact that this guy got the fucking Lopetegui in. But there's no way. Free agent, bruv. I think Moyes would legit get us top 8. No. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. We're not doing this. We won 4 games. We won 4 games in 2024 with the guy. 4 games. 4 fucking games. He got us top 9. I'm very confused on what's going on right now. I can't lie. But that shit German striker as well, again, barely played. But I'm not going to get into this debate again. Moyes is retired. I'm interested to see where Moyes goes after. Because he's been linked with Wolves. I've seen Wolves fans. I've seen what I don't get is Wolves fans cussing Gary O'Neill. I mean, Wolves fans praising Gary O'Neill, but getting Moyes, but dismantling Moyes. I think Moyes would do a decent job at Wolves to an extent, and then he won't be backed because Wolves are Wolves, and then he'll keep them up. But I don't get people that praise Gary O'Neill and dismantle Moyes because Gary O'Neill ain't good. Gary O'Neill isn't a good manager. Watch Wolves be better than us as soon as they get Moyes. They ain't got the squad for that. And we've added £100 million worth of talent. We have added £150 million worth of talent. But Moyes with this squad, like he wouldn't even play half the players that played. Like when this guy got backed a couple years ago, he barely played any of the players. He waited a whole season to integrate Emerson and to play Cresswell at left back. Fair enough, Cornet got injured. Flynn Downs was there. He barely played. Barely played. Skabaka was there, he got injured, fair enough. But when Skabaka did play, barely built the team. The guy, like, if Antonio didn't exist, Moyes would have lost his job a long time ago. Antonio bailed Moyes out so many times because that's all he could build around. Antonio was the system. And Rice saved him in midfield. And I'm talking about specifically that season, the Conference League season. Because even when we had Antonio Rice before then, I still felt like we were more of a team. Like when Soucek was allowed to be box to box, when Cresswell had his last great season, Soufal before the injury. We didn't have great centre backs, but they did the job because of the structure at the time. Fornals was great in that season. Bowen wasn't actually that good in that season, to be fair. So can't even say thingy. So we've added £150 million worth of talent to a side that he got ninth, and you don't think he'd get us eighth? No, I don't think he'd get us eighth. Because a lot of that form was at the start of the season. And a lot of the teams around us, like Man United, like Newcastle, like Brighton, were all doing the same form stuff around us. Same with Chelsea as well. They only picked up their form to get sixth around us. We won 4 games in 2024. I don't think he would have got us eighth with this squad because he wouldn't have played half the players. Like legit, he wouldn't have. And he was so loyal towards some of the players that were here. Don't worry, we'll be back. I mean, you're fine, bro. Villa fan, I know you're worried about right now about your club, but you're fine. Like, you're not in the same position as us. I would kill to have your manager. Last season we had most shots against us. Areola pulling up crazy numbers, most touches in our box. Areola was my hammer of the year last season. Like, I know a lot of people said Bowen. I get why people said Bowen. Areola's was my hammer of the year. Think about a lot of the games that we played last season. I think Areola doesn't get the credit he deserves for last season. Well, not doesn't get the credit he deserves because a lot of the fan base did give him credit. But I just think with the amount of game-saving matches, match-saving, you know what I'm trying to say. The amount of times he made crucial saves in matches that were game-changing, he deserved Hammer of the Year last season, especially with how crooked our defence was. And with how crooked our defence was, we still chose to sat back every game. Battered by Chelsea 6-0. 6-0, 5-0. Battered by Arsenal 6-0. 5-2 to Crystal Palace. 5-0 to Fulham. 4-1 to Aston Villa. 5-1 to Liverpool in the Cup. Like this manager has done as well. Like, fucking hell. 3-0 to that Manchester United side last season. Playing Ben Johnson on the wing. And then the very next week, keeping pretty much the same 11. And then losing 6-0 to Arsenal the very next week. That 2-0 against Forest. Thinking Calvin Phillips is a footballer. Someone that he was interested in for a couple years. I predicted this fucking Calvin Phillips prick 6 months before he joined our club that he was going to be shit because we were linked with Phillips as the swap deal with Declan Rice. Do you know the amount of fucking content creators that were like, oh, you know what West Ham should do? You know how Man City are interested in Declan Rice? They should get Calvin Phillips and swap. Shut the fuck up, bro. You're not the first person to come up with that. And guess what? Calvin Phillips was probably the most overhyped English player ever. Ever. That's in my opinion. Question: what do you credit started with since being here, recruitment wise? I rated the transfer window because that's the transfer window I've seen him with power. Because you got to understand, when David Moyes was here, he wants to take over everything, and we knew there was a conflict in power shifts. I don't know what the phrase is within last summer and January. I've never said these King Tim and all that. I do that to wind people up, but that's the first transfer window I've seen him with power, and I like it. My problem is, Damien, it's not even necessarily with him specifically. The only problem I have with Stardon is what I have a problem with everyone in football. If you are really, really not getting the power within the managers, leave West Ham, please, and save your career and let us know what's going on. Because for me, you staying here and just kind of you're giving all these transfer windows to managers that you didn't want in the club in the first place, you're kind of not part of the problem, but you kind of associate yourself with the problem. And it's the same with David, you know when managers go to what's it called? Ownerships, yeah, that are bad ownerships. For example, let's say Conte, for example. Let's say I'm going to use this example quickly because the only way I'm going to get my point across. Antonio Conte at Tottenham, yeah, he didn't like Daniel Levy. He didn't like the ownership. If he had stayed longer from when he walked out of that ownership, and he had stayed at the club and just put up with Daniel Levy's problems, he's part of the problem. Steiner needs to, not without the interview part of it, do an Antonio Conte and just walk out if you're not part of the managerial process. Because if you're not, we know exactly who to blame. And I think everyone is getting a bit of a sniff of who to blame, depending on the next managerial second. Why are we doing revisionism about Moyes like he wasn't awful in the last 2 seasons at us? We're not doing revisionism about Moyes. Just Fulcrook for me, and the midfield still lacks a ball carrier. I can understand the midfield thing for sure. I just think it's unfortunate with the Fulcrook thing. We've obviously discussed that before, but I think Lop is the main problem. He wanted Fofana, Clown wanted James Ward-Prowse for the 29-year-old for 30 million. Yeah, listen, we've discussed. I think a lot of us have discussed and think Wasim, Kyle. A lot of us have discussed Yusuf Fofana Fuego. I know you've been very vocal about it as well. We've all wanted Yusuf Fofana. I'll be honest, I watched Yusuf Fofana twice, and I was sold. One of the few players abroad where I watched him twice, and I was sold on him. There is the character to play, to have the physicality to play in a double pivot in a 6, but to also carry the ball and be in advanced 8 positions as well, but not too advanced, obviously. I'm saying making third-man runs in a 3-man midfield, not being the last man to make a run, direct in the box. I liked him in midfield. And one of them was the pre-season game, actually, against Arsenal. I specifically watched, what's it called? I specifically watched that game for Fofana. Have you seen Andy Doof? I've heard the name, but where does he play? What club does he play for, Damien? Just so if we're linked with him, I could give him a watch. People hate Side for the midfield recruitment. He did get the striker wrong, though. Listen, here's the thing, yeah. I haven't the Fulcrook injury is unfortunate, but I'm not going to judge him as a player because I watched him as a player. I thought he'd be decent. And listen, I can understand why people don't like it. I get it. Lons, okay. So he plays under Will Steele. All right. Andy Doof. I'm going to go on Transfermarkt. If he's on Transfermarkt, okay. He's 21 years old, okay. So there's a lot of pop-up ads. So I don't even know if I could bring him up. Left-footed, midfield, central midfield, France, Senegal, citizenship, 187 meters. Contract expires in 2028. Can play defensive midfield, central midfield, and attacking midfield. I'll keep an eye on him. I'll keep an eye on him. Big up to Ants as always. Make sure to subscribe to Ants' channel. Make sure to subscribe to Rob's channel. Big up, mate. I'm on Saturday. Please do the blue noses. The thing is, it was funny, bro. A lot of our fan base don't even want to win because it's probably the last game that the manager's going to be part of, bro. Um, so I think for the greater good of the club, a lot of our fans don't actually want to win, but I fully hear you, bro. Now, big up to yourself, Mo, as always. I know you're not Mo, but you know what I mean. Uh, left-footed ball carrier 6'2" box to box. Do you want to be fair? That's exactly what we need in midfield. And to be honest with you, I was fine with the transfer window, yeah, because I understood there was a lot of positions that needed to be addressed. I was pissed off the fact that Lopetegui wanted Cresswell to stay, and that Cresswell was the backup left back to Emerson. But to be fair, that hasn't really come back to bite us playing one game a week. I pretty much wanted every position addressed. Like people could go watch my old rebuild videos. Like during the summer, I pretty much wanted every position addressed. I was very concerned with the squad, and I think Steiner did a good job to that. I just think the manager. I always compare. What's it called? Lopetegui to the Bando house. Big up to Rob as well. Good luck to you anyway. When we play, we'll do a show together too. Definitely, bro. Definitely. We have to. Thanks for the show. Also, mate, no problem, bro. No problem. Always going to, bro. I'll be open to selling Kudus to fund another little rebuild. I think that's going to happen next season. I think that's going to happen in the summer, bro. Because he's got an 85 million release clause that triggers back in the summer. And I think a lot of clubs are going to be sniffing. Obviously, he's going to probably be talking to his agent. His agent's probably going to be sniffing around other clubs as well. He obviously had got a new agency in the summer. So I think that's going to trigger another rebuild. And I think, to be fair, that's where I've always been positive about the director of football, where we're in that position that the same things that Brighton do and other clubs, where you got that big sell on player, so then you can fund another rebuild to carry on spending money, each summer, pretty much. Big up to 11 people in it. Make sure to smash a like as well. If we're not on 8 likes already, that's a big problem. And if we're on 8 likes, let's get to 10. Let's get to 10 by the end of this. Are they still investigating Paquetá? Is that dead in the water now? I think they're still investigating it. That always comes up at every international break because people are bored and when they write articles and stuff. So I think we won't find out until deep into next year, I don't think. Lewandowski got rejuvenated with Flick. Yeah, big up Hansi Flick as always. Great manager. Do you think Guilherme will be a success eventually, Max? I do. Do you know what I do? That's the thing I was getting onto. I think we actually are in a good position where, because of the recruitment that we have, we buy ahead of what we sell. So we're obviously still going to replace Kudus with another person in a different position. But I think Guilherme was part of that because we were preparing eventually for Paquetá or Kudus to either leave or obviously the ban with Paquetá as well. So I think not only was Soler probably part of that, as you mentioned in another stream, but also Guilherme as well because of the winger/10 positions that he can cover. But obviously we're going to sign another player with the money that we have from that as well. And I think Guilherme, he was obviously looked like, from everyone I've spoken to, bro, that watches the Brazilian league and watches Brazil youth teams in general, because a couple of people are Brazilian and that, they really like Guilherme. They even rate him over Paquetá and stuff like that. So, like, I'm looking forward to Guilherme, like, seeing what Guilherme is like. At the start of the season, I wasn't that stressed about the midfield because I wasn't expecting Alvarez to fall off like this. I'm full on with that, like, I wasn't expecting the midfield to be like this. I knew we'd have to upgrade eventually, but I didn't think it'd be like this. I didn't think he'd come off from the injury like this. Big up to Deck as always. Chelsea going to slaughter Arsenal this weekend. I'm doing a preview of the Premier League game week, and you'll see that video tomorrow, and you'll get my thoughts on that game tomorrow. Yeah, Paquetá is a bad boy baller, but the whole team is massively underperforming, especially with how good your summer window was looking. Looks like Lopetegui has got it all wrong. Yeah, bro. Tactically all wrong. No identity in the team. And the thing is with Paquetá, he just doesn't look himself. And it's probably to do with the banning thing as well. But it's also just, he doesn't look like he's even having fun playing football. Doesn't look like he's taking games by the scruff of the neck anymore. Doesn't want to drive with the ball like he used to. He kind of just stands there and just passes the ball. And sometimes it goes all wrong. But a lot of it is the manager's fault. I do have to blame some of it on him, though, as much as I like Paquetá, because some of the stuff that he's doing isn't to do with the manager, because he's just giving away the ball needlessly. However, I do think there's a player there that you can definitely still get the best out of, and I'll maintain that. But he needs to fix that up himself as well. I do believe at some point, if the new manager comes in and we actually get a manager that has a brain, Maybe for the time being when Kudus comes back, maybe bench him for a little bit and then bring him back into the team. But yeah, also, yeah, Somerville, that will always be my guy. Free Somerville. We play mostly on our right side. Somerville doesn't get enough of the ball. We abuse that right-hand side too much. You're spot on with that. And the thing is, Wan-Bissaka and Bowen are misused anyway. Wan-Bissaka underlapping Bowen on the touchline. Everyone knows my thoughts on that already. However, we need to use the left side a lot more often. I like Guilherme. I think Wesley would have had a clearer route to the first team. I low-key think that you might be right because Wesley was more of a left winger. But I also don't think he would have played under this manager, but I know exactly what you mean. With Guilherme, I think they rate Guilherme over Wesley over there. I could be wrong, but I think they rate Guilherme over Wesley. But I think obviously Wesley is more now than and potential rather. Guilherme is more potential. So I didn't mind. I didn't mind either way. I just knew we needed to address the winger position. But yeah, Fairs, mate. Do you get to the games often? If you're ever on an away day here, we'll grab a pipe with you, mate. I would love to go on an away day. I never get to go on an away day because I can never get tickets. I always go to the home games because I've got a season ticket. I've always wanted to go to Anfield, not obviously to watch West Ham play there because we always lose and we're shit, but always wanted to go on away day, just to go to different cities and go to be in away days in different stadiums and stuff like that. I've always wanted to go Newcastle away, Man United away, Liverpool away, City away. Even though we'd lose at all those games, I would love to be there for the night out and the away day. I need to get to an away day. I need to. I'm going to try my best to get a ticket this year. Even if it's London away day, I don't care. I want to go to at least one. I can only go to pre-season away days. That's the only time I can get tickets. I've been Ipswich away twice, and we got lost on the way home once. And the last away day, that it doesn't even really count, was Dagenham and Redbridge. Bro, that's local. That's barely even an away day. Like I went to Dagenham and Redbridge away day in pre-season. That's local. It's not really it's not an away day for me. I'm a local guy. I'm seeing Somerville with his hand up and he receives the ball too late or doesn't at all. I agree with you. Until we get that ball carrying 6-8 profile, Suchek and Alvarez need to be sat in front of that back four just to stop shipping goals. Listen, I hear you for the time being. We don't really have much choice, do we? So I hear you on that. Big up to Colin. Makes might listen to this one. I would hate this if Sullivan does this, but he would be taking a piss out of us. Frank Lampard, there would be a riot if that happened. Don't think that's going to happen, bro. I don't think that's going to happen because genuine East London riot because Lampard is the most hated person in East London. Midfield and centre back side pass FC. Yeah, that's the thing. I feel sorry for the centre backs low key Fuego because the midfield don't show for the ball and we don't structure for the midfield to show for the ball. And Kilman and Taniba's passing is kind of underused when it could just pass sideways. Kilman tries to pass in between the lines, and then the midfielders lose the ball. I miss away days. I wanted away days so bad. Yeah, you love it. Remember when you had Bilic and you won at Anfield, the Etihad and the Emirates, bro? That was such a mad season. I was watching Payet play football every 2 weeks at Upton Park. The fact that we won at Anfield, like we're probably never going to win at Anfield again in my lifetime. But that win at Anfield was nuts because I did watch the game. I don't think it was live. I looked on my phone like Sacco scored. No, I think was it Noble? No, Noble got sent off. It might have been Noble. I don't remember. But when we won 3-0, I was like, what on earth? We never win there. But the Emirates one was mad because I have a lot of Arsenal friends. I was in year 8 in that season, so like a lot of Arsenal friends in school, sent them a text, all that. When we won there, that was mad in itself because I never saw a win in the Emirates, only seen 2. And also the Etihad one was mad as well. That was Antonio's debut, I think. Victor Moses scored in that game. That's even the more mental about that. Victor Moses scored in that game. Payet's free kick. Never say never. Forrest did it, and yeah, you won 3-0. Firmino got a red card. I think Noble got a red card at the end as well. That Payet free kick was in the cup. I think we drew 1-1 the next year at Anfield as well. That's the funny part. We even in the 16-17 season, we drew 1-1 with that Payet free kick because that was even a cup or the league where we drew 1-1. Oh no, we beat you in the cup. I think we drew in the cup, and then we beat you in the replay. And the next season in the league, we drew at Anfield with that Payet free kick, and that was one of Payet's last games. I think that was Payet's last goal for us. I could be wrong, but I think that was in January, and he was either that or the Middlesbrough goal. That was Payet's last goal for us, which was mad in itself. That guy was a one-man team. You don't get that anymore with them type of individuals in football anymore. But Payet, one-man team. we had good players there. Don't get me wrong. We had Noble. Noble was sick. Lanzini was sick. Antonio was sick. Kouyaté. I love Kouyaté. Obiang. Cresswell was good then. That was when Cresswell was good about 10 years ago. But Payet was the guy. Yeah, 2-2. That Origi got an equaliser. Antonio scored a scruffy goal. And yeah, that free kick. It was 2-2. It was 2-2. I forgot about the other goals. I completely forgot about the other gols. Yeah, Ogbonna in that, what's it called? In that FA Cup. I was at that game. I think. No, actually, no, I wasn't at that game. I couldn't get to that game. It was an FA Cup bout. I was season ticket holder for the league games. We should have gone on a cup run, man. We got robbed against Man United at Old Trafford, but we should have beaten them at Upton Park in that season. Basically, 3 centre backs themselves, then past Aaron Wan-Bissaka, then past the Burren, and then pray something happens. You've pretty much clocked Lopetegui's style of play. If I'm Sean Dyche, I'm literally watching this stream and going on Fuego's comment, and like basically that's how they play. Just stop that side. We should get Nolan out of retirement. He could do a job for us now. Oh my days. Joy is I rate these footballers, yeah, like Kevin Nolan, that as soon as they retire, they get straight on the burgers. Straight on the burgers. Big up to Kevin Nolan, bro. But he was straight on the burgers as soon as he retired. We should be exploiting Diags to Debo to Somerville, Kilman to Bowen. Yeah, that is like, again, I think this manager, the way he structures the team, he actually underuses the ability of our centre backs passing, because Tadibo and Kilman can pass the ball. Like, I don't mind long passing if you can pass like that. Sometimes it's needless, but Kilman can pass. That guy is a proper like ball playing centre back, and so can Tadibo. It might sound like a silly question, but might sound a silly question to you, but do you prefer Upton Park over your new ground? Always. Even though the only advantage of this stadium is that it's closer to me than it is Upton Park. And with Upton Park, there's no pun intended, there's nowhere to park. I don't drive, but I just went with my parents at the time. There was nowhere to park there. So now that I get on the train just on my own and shit, I could probably get there fine. I haven't been to Green Street since, and I don't really want to go back there because obviously it's been smashed down and been turned into buildings. It would make me upset, not gonna lie. But yeah, proper stadium, man. And don't get me wrong, we needed to technically move to the new stadium for like more money and to generate stuff like that, but we haven't really used that money properly. But what's it called? It's just not the same, man. It's just not the same. Like, you got, like, even though it wasn't always a fantastic atmosphere at Upton Park, you can create a fantastic atmosphere at Upton Park. And it kind of is where it is, but the problem is we've kind of completely fucked ourselves with the new stadium because, like Arsenal and Tottenham, for example, even though they've also kind of like, cool, they've got their new stadiums and maybe their fans also feel the same and think that old stadium's better. They've done it the right way, where even though it's affected their transfer windows, they own their stadium. The problem is now, cool, we rent our stadium. The problem with that, we can't change the stadium. We can't change the stadium because then we put more money into the stadium and we won't be able to invest in a transfer window because all the FFP nonsense and stuff. So we can't move the stadium closer to the pitch because we don't own it. So we've kind of fucked ourselves in general when it comes to the whole stadium move. It's sad, and don't get me wrong, it's more convenient for me to get there. It's less convenient for me to get there. Like, it's a very short trip. But I would happily take the long trip to go back to Upton Park and do the same traditional thing that I always used to do there because that was the main part of it. But don't get me wrong, I've seen good West Ham seasons since, but it's not like with the more revenue that we've got now that we've actually used it properly season in, season out. Mike, so I'd love to see Guilherme partnering Antonio up front, use his pace and power and strength against opposing defenses, or play him with Kudus just to try something different. And the thing is, we need to see Guilherme at some point in this season, in my opinion. I'm not saying week in, week out, but to integrate him somewhat, even if it's like a fourth choice winger, in my opinion. Just a couple appearances off the bench. And I'm not talking just against Ipswich, I'm talking about to make an impact. Because getting Andy Irving on instead of him, are we really saying that Andy Irving can do more than a Guilherme? There's videos of Lopetegui tweaking out, yelling. The player's probably going to ignore him. I think the players don't give a shit about him. They're like, you're not going to do shit. You ain't got a voice here, my friend. Our new ground is worse than Dagenham's. Not even trolling. I agree with you. I think we've got the worst stadium in the country. I really like Dagenham and Redbridge Stadium because it's a proper stadium. It's proper non-league and vibes. Pyatt was a one-man team. Yeah, I wasn't gonna say it, but like, well, I did say it. But yeah, I wasn't trying to downplay any of the other players, but Pyatt was just that guy. Like, it's more of a compliment to Pyatt, isn't it? Fairs, mate, might be a similar situation with Everton moving to Bramley Moor. Upton Park, definitely iconic for you. Is that like, I know like Everton, yeah, and they kind of had to do the stadium move for whatever reason, but Goodison Park will like you're never gonna. It's like Upton Park. You're never gonna replicate that. Never gonna replicate Goodison Park. Mike, so follow your socials, mate. We'll DM you. I'm gonna bounce big up to you in your chat. Always big up to yourself, Rob. As I said, people subscribe to Rob, bro. He's a very good guy, and he's got a good channel as well. I'm sure we'll be doing content in the future. But listen, people, getting into the game again. Score predictions. Everyone is here right now. Leave your score predictions in the comments. Not what you want to happen. What do you think will happen? What do you generally think will happen? Because regardless, something's going to happen with the manager in terms of he's going to stay or go. Obviously, if we win or draw, he's probably going to stay, and it's going to get longed out until we lose to Newcastle or Arsenal. However, if we lose, he's gone. I get why people want us to lose this game for the greater good. The only reason why I'm not saying that is because I don't think anything's going to get better for me. I don't think anything's going to get better for me. In my opinion, I'm going to go 1-1. I'm going to go 1-1. Just my opinion. I agreed with what Charlie said earlier. I think it's going to be stinky. I think it's just kind of bound for a draw, isn't it? It's going to be a low quality game, isn't it? It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight, and it's just going to be full of nonsense. Low quality game. And Everton are shit. We're shit. What's the best version of West Ham you've ever seen? I'd say it's the 21-22 season. In my lifetime, because I can only go off the 10-11 season onwards. And I'd say best version of West Ham is probably that lockdown season. No, not 21-22. 2021, sorry, not 21-22. Lockdown. 2021. Not the year we finished 6th. I still think we probably needed a striker to help Antonio, because this was the time where Antonio was getting injuries and we needed someone to help him. I don't know who we would have got to fit the system at the time. Funny enough, we were linked to with Danny Ings at one point. Tammy Abraham we were linked with. I wanted Tammy Abraham at the time. In hindsight, probably wouldn't have fit the system and probably wouldn't have been the answer anyway, but I wanted Tammy Abraham at the time. In that next summer. Obviously, the Lingard signing helped us get over the line. I would have liked Moyes to stick to his counter-attacking principles and try that 3 at the back / 4 at the back that he did with Cresswell and Masuaku partnership at the time. That actually really worked, where we should just spam crosses and overload. That's what I would have liked Moyes to do at the time, and kind of focus on that team and try and rejuvenate that team and focus on that specific way of playing at the time. Everton versus West Ham. Mike's just put the title for match review CBA. Yeah, legit. Like, I can't lie, Warrior. Regardless of what happens, it is CBA mode anyway. Like, I've said this earlier, bro. If we win, the manager stays. If we lose, the manager goes, and we probably hire someone else that's shit. So either way, CBA. I want to see Guilherme should be used as an impact sub more often. Definitely. Should at least be getting, even if it is Andy Irving minutes, like 10 minutes off the bench and stuff. Like, he should still be getting minutes. Like, just some minutes. We're not expecting him to start week in, week out, but we want to see him. He looks like an exciting player. He looks like another player that would get the West Ham fans rising up. It's like every time Kudus is on the ball, the West Ham fans in the stadium stand up. Every time we're on the attack and Kudus is on the ball. We feel like something's going to happen. It's kind of died down this season because we've been playing him off the left, but anytime he plays off the left, it's kind of like whatever. No idea score prediction wise. I never have a clue what Lopetegui is going to do. Sure, I don't either. I wasn't expecting 5 at the back and 2 DMs. against Nottingham Forest. But that's what surprised me at the time as well. He kept doing that. He kept doing that. It was annoying. Like 5 at the back and 2 DMs is something fucking Southgate would do. Like seriously, man. But that sums up this manager, doesn't it? That sums up this manager. Like, what else do people expect from a bozo terrorist? From a Spanish bozo terrorist? The sangria, you know the rest. 5 in the back and 2 DMs. Like, that's why I put Spanish Southgate in the title of my fan camp. That's why. Yeah, that's my favorite version of us. Yeah, honestly, I think that is probably the best West Ham team, like just as a team, because obviously people will say the Conference League, we weren't good in that season. The 15-16 team, it was just mainly Payet, and other players were good, but it was mainly Payet. Like, don't get me wrong, if we put those two teams together, it'd probably be like a draw or something just purely because of Payet. But you're coming up against a hard to beat West Ham team that had even Diop and Dawson and Balbuena at the back, and we still managed to do well. You know what, Damien? Do you remember in that 21-22 season, I wanted him. I wanted Ismail Assar, and I actually really rated him. I thought when Marseille got him, we might have missed a trick. And I think it was in that summer when we bought bare players at the time. We were linked with Dennis and Sarr, Emmanuel Dennis and Sarr. And I was like, get them both. Get them both. There was a transfer window where we got like Paquetá, Emerson, and all them players. Like, I would have liked us to get Ismail Assar or Dennis, because I think Ismail Assar's a good player. Again, I think he hasn't been used properly at Crystal Palace. It's been a CBA season. Oh, facts, for sure. I'm going to end it there, though, people, because I didn't plan to go on for this long anyway, but as we always do, as the chat is always fantastic, we managed to talk for half an hour about this club more than I actually wanted to, because I don't like talking about this club. But anyway, I have a YouTube channel. I kind of have to talk about this club. But anyway, I'm going to have a video tomorrow, previewing the Premier League, previewing the Premier League. I can't fucking speak today. Previewing the Premier League game week. So we'll be talking about Chelsea, Arsenal, and all that as well. I've been trying to get some guests on for future weeks coming up, but we'll have some content during the international break as well, people as well. So we are going to end it there, but big up to everyone as always. Mike, I do think we need to change coach now that the international break is coming up. I would have made the change weeks back, but this is the best time to do it. But do not trust Sullivan. Completely agree with you, Colin. Everything you just said there. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you are new. Social medias are in the description if you want to follow me. And the email for the inquiries. Check out my video tomorrow. Match reaction out.